We are now in the third week of January, and I think we've pretty much had a good start. Starting a dialysis shift routine helped manage our time at work, and reviewing our self-care routine aided us to balance it more. However, if you still have free time and feel bored on your days off, maybe you want to try a per diem job. Hey nurses, Nurse Rooms here. I'm a Filipino dialysis nurse and welcome back to my channel where I upload videos all about dialysis and my journey as an immigrant nurse here in the US. Today, we are gonna explore as to why some nurses take per diem shifts even with a full-time job. Does it allow greater flexibility in their schedule? Does it guarantee to earn a high hourly rate compared to the regular pay? Does it give the ability to work in different healthcare settings to gain new skills? Finally, is it enough to supplement their income when needed? If you're interested, keep watching. But don't forget to hit that like button, smash the subscribe button, and hit that bell icon for a new video every week as I take you with me in discovering nursing career. The perks of being a dialysis nurse is that there are a lot of job options waiting for you in case you think your current dialysis job is not working. Starting off with the different modalities, there is chronic dialysis nurse who works in an outpatient center, acute dialysis nurse in the hospital, there's peritoneal dialysis nurse, home hemodialysis nurse. Don't forget about the clinical ladder as well. You can be a clinical coordinator, facility administrator, home program manager, and more. Also, transplant nurse coordinator, and there's more that you can even think of. So if you need to get a per diem job and doesn't feel like exploring outside dialysis, there's a lot you can choose from. The most common is doing both acute and chronic dialysis since both settings are almost the same. This is what I am currently doing, but I know someone who works almost all modalities. She's a full-time PD nurse, but also works per diem in acutes and chronic. She just missed home hemodialysis. Anyway, adding a per diem gig to your full-time job is not a joke. You have to be fully committed and prepared before embarking on the idea. Whatever your reason, it should serve its purpose and not add more stress to your life. Now, let's talk about some of that. Before I'm gonna start, let's talk about dialysis work hours. A dialysis nurse typically works less than 40 hours per week by working longer shifts, often 12 hours, but fewer days a week, meaning they might only work 3 to 4 days per week, allowing for a more balanced schedule with extended days off. But this still depends on which facility you work in. When I was in Pennsylvania, I had no problems in hours. In fact, I had more, but the downside is it was because of staff shortage, thus leading to burnout. Now I finally transferred, it's totally the opposite because of less hours. I used to get around 50 hours a week, but now I didn't even reach 40 hours and not even close to 35 hours. Less hours equates to less pay. So the first reason why I got my per diem job is supplemental income. It wasn't just enough. So if you're in the same situation, this might be the year that you want to try. Per diem nurses often receive a high hourly rate than staff nurses due to the on-demand nature of their work, which can be a significant financial incentive. I had no idea what the pay would be, but I was shocked as soon as I was informed. It's time and a half rate. This is the rate I got working per diem in the acutes under the same company. The hours will be calculated as one, and if you go over 40 hours, which is not my typical, it's the acutes who will pay for the overtime. I have also no idea of the rate if you are doing the other way around, like working per diem in the chronics, because I don't think the clinics can afford this kind of rate. So if you're doing this kind of arrangement and are generous enough to share, please feel free to comment below. I find this very convenient for me because my clinic is not really that stressful and is pretty tolerable. So getting 1 day shift in the acute area definitely worked for me. Per diem jobs don't get on calls too. If you know me from my previous videos, I worked as a dialysis nurse in the hospital when I was still in the Philippines, so I know how this works. The long hours, on call, etc., and everything is almost the same here in the US, just except the electronic charting. So I don't mind working the acutes as per diem since I don't do on calls anyway. As a note, per diem dialysis nurses are not priorities because of the higher pay and incentive we get. So when there is less census for the day, you have a few hours to wait for patient assignment, then your shift will be canceled. I don't mind this as well because even just working less hours or just one treatment, pay is enough already. Ask around your area. I was able to learn about per diem because one of the acute nurses was covering in my clinic. She's a Filipino and the manager as well was a Filipino, so everything became like a referral. Let your FA know about it, especially if you get less hours. Sometimes it's them who even initiate. They can give you float shifts sometimes. This is an opportunity to save for your future plans of maybe going back to school, putting up your business, buying a home, getting married, or giving birth to a child. An extra income is always a good idea. Another reason is experience. Working per diem can expose you to diverse patient population and clinical practices that can help broaden your skills. To be honest, another motivating factor why I want to try the acutes is because I want to take the CNN, Certified Nephrology Nurse. It's a certification that requires 30,000 hours, but 750 of that should be coming from the acutes doing various dialysis treatment modalities such as PD, CRRT, etc. But when I was finally exposed to all these and saw the different machines they work on for CRRT, the grid line for PAIDS patient, I backed up. Just seeing all these things and how they do is making me stressed so much more if I'm finally doing it. So I didn't mind asking anything about it nor being trained. Back in my hometown in the Philippines, I was not exposed yet with a dialysis machine attached to a portable RO. What we did, since the ICU is just across our hemodialysis unit, there is an extra water connection to one of their rooms. So we just grab our dialysis machine and push it to the ICU room and connect it. But when I finally saw it on my first day in the acutes, I was totally amazed. I was like, am I fit enough to push this? 8 months later, I'm still here. If I remember it correctly, I started October 2023 and stopped last May 2024. Now, I'm back. Chronic and acute dialysis have greatly different setups. In the chronic, you have techs who do most jobs. You just do assessment, medications to all 12 patients, and assist in any way you can. In the acutes, you do everything but to only one patient if working at bedside, maximum two if working in the multiple treatment room. Working in the chronic gives you the advantage of getting used to working more machines and patients, so your pace will definitely be better in the acutes. One of the acute techs tried helping in our clinic, and he really verbalized the challenge of handling more patients because he's only used to catering 2 patients only. On the other hand, working in the acutes lets me know more comorbidities as I check and read the patient's cases. I've learned that for AKI patients, non-tunneled catheters are placed first, which is good for 7 days, assuming they can recover within the period. If not, it will be switched to a tunneled catheter. That's why when I admit new AKI patients in our clinic, I see a non-tunneled catheter documented, yet came in with a tunneled one. This is an opportunity to learn. In the chronic, you rarely stick string machines, so these are the kind of skills you can work on and master working as per diem in the acutes. I have 4 days off, but I only gave 1 day for the acutes, and I choose the day that is convenient for me. I don't like to give my Tuesday since it's too early for the week, nor Saturday since it's the weekend. That's why I always give out my Thursday. And as I've mentioned before, we're not really the priorities during the shift, so when there's less census, we might be canceled or we're the first ones to go. Same in the clinic, the floats or the per diem teammates are the first ones to go. No responsibility or extra roles that the regular staff usually do for the day. This is per diem compared to part-time that you should still get specific work hours, maybe 2 shifts a week. Not really familiar with this idea, but this is what differentiates the two. So despite doing 2 jobs now, I still got to do my usual routine. I still have time for self-care. So there's nothing to worry about your work-life balance getting messed up if you really want to try getting a per diem on top of your full-time. Nurses also take per diem shifts in a specialty area they are interested in to see if they want to pursue it further. Global nurses are binded with a contract of average 2 to 3 years. That's why instead of buying out and paying for the bond contract, they try per diem in the hopes of doing it after the contract ends. Sometimes they are also assigned in an area that they don't like due to availability. That's why they want to try out the area that they want in the first place. In my case, I was interested before with nursing homes in LTAC, but not something I want to do in the future. I just like interacting with the residents. They're like children in the daycare, but I have never tried it. I usually do the easier process, and working a per diem job under the same company is the easiest. So, what's your plan? Do you think you need a second job this 2025? That's it. Hope you learned something from this video. If yes, don't forget to click like, leave a comment for some video suggestions, and of course, subscribe to my channel. Thanks for watching and see you next video.